What's going on, guys? Oh my gosh, it's been too long, right? I know I have not been vlogging the way that I want to because it's been a lot going on, y'all. So we're gonna catch y'all up real quick. Well, I'm gonna catch y'all up real quick. If you're new to the channel, hi, my name is Saisha. Welcome to Saisha's Life Journey. So basically, guys, yesterday was my birthday, so happy belated birthday to me. It was a relaxed day. It was a little annoying though, I'm not gonna lie, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But the day before yesterday, so Wednesday, we were over delivering a load at a restaurant depot in Aurora, Colorado. And so when we were over there, because we had an overnight stay in Colorado, we had ordered pappardelle. Like, instead of going to eat at the restaurant, because it was like by the time we get there, spend the money to get an Uber there and then spend the money to get an Uber back. Plus pappardelle, if y'all know, they pretty pricey. And so anyway, we decided to go ahead and order in and eat in the truck, y'all. Enjoyed that. The food was delicious. It was so much food. I had some leftovers for yesterday, so had pappardelle again for yesterday. All right, enough of that. So guys, all right, let me catch y'all up on what's going on. So I'm gonna turn the camera around. We are in Hastings, Nebraska, like I said, and guys, this is our last load assignment, picking up over here. We got here last night. We slept here on the property, but we're picking over here picking up, I don't even freaking know, I ain't look at the bills yet. We actually just finished getting loaded, so we are headed to Romeoville, Illinois to return this truck. We are completely done working for R&R Transportation, guys. And so we're excited about that, and hence to the reason why I haven't been vlogging lately. So just real quick, I'll give y'all a real quick rundown because I don't want to make this video too long about R&R. You guys already know, if you've been watching my trucking vlogs, and you already know that we have already been on the fence about leaving this company. Basically, it all boiled down to after we had got back from Cancun, Mexico in January for Rich's birthday. Now, y'all already know, prior to us going to Cancun, we could not get a load going to Florida because they were bucking up over here. And so pretty much we had to fly from LA to Florida to make our flight on time for our trip to Cancun, and then we had to fly back over to get back to work from Orlando to LA. And it wasn't, we had already like accepted that that was what was going to happen. Like, we were like, all right, it is what it is. But what really like applied pressure to us and really like was like the straw that broke the camel's back was when we got our next settlement. And they didn't even tell us, there was no update from our contact over at R&R letting us know like what they ultimately decided as far as like who was responsible for that $1,000 2 plane tickets that equated to $1,000, you know. Anyway, when we got our settlement, we looked at our settlement. I'm like, why is it like $350 missing from my settlement? And then Rich looked at his, $350 missing from his. So they held us responsible for $700 of that $1,000. I think it came up to like $1,050, like $1,041 that the plane tickets equated to. And then when I was trying to call the contact over at R&R, then now he was dodging me. And it was like, all right, at the end of the day, you already took it, so I already know that you're not going to be like, oh, let me cut you a check. But my thing was like, whatever happened to worst case scenario, the company has said that they were going to do a 50-50 split, even more like a 70-30 split, and that was not cool at all. And even to this day, it is April 10th, there still has been no conversation about that whole situation. Like, every time, you know, I probably try to call that contact for a week and remind you that person was communicating with us about loads and all of that stuff, like, you know, oh, I got this for y'all, you know, you're gonna be running here, this and that. And it was like, you know, you calling us like you doing us favors. Y'all should be assigning us good loads. Like, we're a team over here and we run good. Like, we are a team that y'all can rely on. So you're not doing me no favor. Like, I'm getting paid for what I'm doing. I'm doing my job, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, y'all, I'm gonna get off my soapbox about that. But that was the straw that broke the camel's back. After that, me and Rich were just like, you know what, you know. And then to add injury to insult, I think that's how it go, our miles just started suffering. And this is why I got my phone in my hand, because I just want to, instead of me trying to remember how the miles have been like these last like few months, I'll just like look at my phone and tell y'all. So like in January as a team, we only got 13,099 miles. Now we did take a week off, so that week that we took off was PTO. Let me tell you, the first week in January was a good week. It was 6,162 miles. The second week sucked, 2,900 miles. Third week was PTO. The fourth week was 3,900 miles. Like for a team, we should always be around that 5,500 or more. Let's just say even 5,000 or more, because we know, like, you know, things get slow and stuff like that. So we do understand that. All right. So then February, we got 19,900 miles for the month. So we were averaging around, we had 2 weeks where we had got like around 32 and 3,600 miles. Then we had 2 weeks where we got 67 and 6,300 miles. But still, that averages out month. If you equate that 4 weeks in a month, that still only averaged out to about 4,600 miles per week for that month. And then March, which we just got over March, was 22,466. And that was probably the better month out of all the months going back. I went through all the way from November to March, and March was probably the only month that 5 weeks in March, so it averaged out to, we had got like I want to say it was like 49 or 5,100 miles for the like averaging out weekly for that month. Now, you know, of course it was like weeks where it was like 39, 36, 46, 46, and then 55 was our last week. We ended in March. So anyway, say all of that to say that was like injury to insult. Oh no, this was injury to insult too. I hope I'm saying that right, because I'm sure saying it a lot. But y'all, we didn't make our safety performance bonus because we were 6,300 and something miles short of the minimum mile requirement for a team. 57,000 miles or more has to be ran between a team in that quarter, which is 3 months. So that would have been December, January, February, right? We were basically 2 trips short. You know, if you really think about it, because you're talking about the trips average 2,500 miles. So, and then, you know, usually if we're doing a coast to coast, we'll do 2,500, then we'll do a empty mile run, or we'll do a small run from like wherever we're at on the East Coast. We'll go up like 600 miles. It'll be like 500 to 600 miles. That'll either be empty, or that will be like, you know, a small run to get to position us in Lumber Bridge or Siler City, and then we'll come west again. So you figure, and then usually from east to west, we're usually close to 3,000 miles. I'm telling y'all, that was literally like a 2 long trip, 1 short trip run that we could have done on any of those weeks, because those weeks were lacking in that 3-month period, and we would have hit our safety performance bonus. So, you know, that was annoying to us. And we were like, you know what, it's getting to the point where, why are we even relying on the safety performance bonus? Like, that should just be the icing on the cake. You know, that shouldn't be like, oh, we need that because every month we're having to go into our savings to accommodate for the lack of, you know, the money in our checks, when, you know, because, you know, the bills and all that stuff like that. So anyway, y'all, it was just like, all right, yeah, it's time to go. You know, we did have a conversation with them in the beginning of March. We had a conversation. It was like, look, things got to change. And they were just like, all right, we got some things coming. You know, nobody's telling us what's coming, but we did notice that they started swapping us. So our biggest complaint also was too much time on the loads. So we did notice that they started having like solo drivers meet us, and instead of us sitting at a location waiting for the delivery, because we'll get like a run coast to coast, me and Rich can do that less than 48 hours, anywhere between, let's say, 40 to 48 hours, you know, and I'm telling y'all, we do that in like 38. But anyway, let's just say 40 to 48 hours. So that's 2 whole days. But we'll be having like 4 or 5 days on the trip. So we'll get over to the location early, and then they don't want to take you. So then that's the other issue. So then we're just sitting, you know, at our delivery spot. So what they started doing, because we were complaining about that, was they started having solo drivers meet us, and then they will go ahead and deliver the load, and we'll just basically swap with them, either get an empty trailer or we'll grab whatever they have, because maybe they picked up like something that's going far, and then we'll just go ahead and run with that. But I was like, you know, that was cool. We saw the efforts. That's the point that I'm making. We did see them trying to make some efforts, but y'all making efforts and y'all executing what we need y'all to execute is two different things. Like, we just can't possibly keep dealing with this, like, especially when it's been months that we've been dealing with the same thing, and we've been talking to other drivers, other teams that's been complaining about the same thing. So it's not even personal. And so we were like, all right, it's not just us. This is like, you know, this is what y'all are doing. Like, this is just what's going on at the company. And so anyway, all right, needless to say, so yesterday, was it? No, okay, we delivered the load yesterday. So yesterday, originally our plan was we're gonna get them 2 weeks notice, because me and Rich have a trip, my birthday trip, coming up on April 28th. So we will be home on April 24th to get ready for our trip. We've been out since his birthday, so pretty much 3 months now. And so y'all see Rich in the back. Yeah, he back there throwing something in the trash. Y'all, I'm about to drive, so I'm like, all right, let me go ahead and wrap this up. So we were going to originally give them 2 weeks notice, so we were going to go on our trip, and then we were going to come back, and then that's when we were going to leave. But in the meantime, we were already in the process of doing all of our paperwork. I mean, like, you know, we did an application. Van Aerden is our new company, by the way. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just share that with y'all if you made it to the video this far, then now you know. So, you know, we decided, okay, we're going to go ahead and get everything to hire, like all the application, all the paperwork, all that stuff done over with them. So then basically they would just be waiting for us to let them know when we ready to come over. We did the drug test because we were stuck in Valdosta, Georgia. So we did the drug test. It was convenient too, because we were able to drive the truck over there, and it was like right around the corner from where we was delivering. So it just lined up perfectly. So the results came back negative, of course, because this is what we do. And so we were just like, got the call from the recruiter over at Van Aerden, and she was just like, well, you know, whenever you guys are ready, then we're ready for you guys. Like, so we got to talking with her more, and we were just like, you know, oh, we also was able to talk to some drivers over there. Well, actually one driver. It was a team over there. Like, they gave us their number, and we talked to them, and, you know, they were pretty much confirming, like, you know, everything that the recruiter was saying, but also giving us the bad too, you know, because, like, we can take some bad with some good. Like, that was our thing over here too. It's like, we don't want everything got to be perfect. At the end of the day, the miles just need to add up. Like, we talking about, like, we need to be over. I would like to be over 6,000 miles every week, but I know it could be, you know, weeks where it's bad. But I want majority of my miles of my weeks to be 6,000 or more for a team. But anyway, so in a nutshell, we were just like, why are we waiting? Because, like, the weeks have been sucking over here lately too, and we were just like, okay, we're like shooting ourselves in the foot to keep our PTO for the trip that we have at the end of this week. And I was saying here that I was telling Rich, like, babe, it really don't make no sense for us to stay over here for a week of PTO when really we can make that in the next 2 weeks and more at Van Aerden, because Van Aerden is like, hey, we got the miles. Y'all want to work? Oh, we got the miles to run, y'all. So y'all ready to work? Oh, okay. You know, and it was confirmed by the team driver that's over there that we talked to. So we were just like, we could make that and more, you know, before our trip. So why are we even worried? Like, they can keep that week PTO, because honestly, that really only was going to equate to it. Like, they break it down to, like, I think $32 an hour. It was going to equate to, like, we have 34 hours of PTO. It was going to be like $1,000 check, you know, for each of us. So that'd have been like, you know, after taxes, we would have probably took home like 900 and something, because that was pretty much what it was for Rich's birthday too. So that's how I know how much that check was going to be. So I was just like, it really don't matter, you know, like, when you think about it, we can go make some money for the next couple of weeks. They already said, like, hey, you guys can take off. We understand you already had this vacation plan. You can take off. They said it's not going to look bad. So that was our main concern. We was like, look, we can wait and come over after our vacation, you know. So call R&R, let them know, like, hey, we need to return this truck to Romeoville. We're in Aurora, Colorado. Y'all need to get us something here and over there, because our next spot is in Michigan, Grand Rapids. Van Aerden set everything up. Today we'll be picking up a rental car this evening. y'all see another separate video with how all that process, but let's just say Van Airden set everything up to make it so smooth and easy for us. We've been doing a lot of the videos on the phone already, so it's like orientation is like 4 to 6 hours, and we already got a load assignment heading out of there Friday after orientation. So R&R, our fleet manager, she acted like she had a fucking attitude, so it was just like whatever. And then but the other people, like safety, called us and was like, dang, I really wish y'all would have let me know like what was going on. Like I would have, you know, tried to help in some way. Like, can I change y'all mind and stuff? So we appreciate that. Let us know that if we ever need to come back, we always have a home over here. And then, you know, my point of contact, you know, he's like a planner slash, I don't know if he's dispatch or whatever, but anyway, he's like up the food chain. Like he got pool over there. He called. This was the same one that was ignoring me about the damn plane tickets, though. Ain't got that much damn pool. But anyway, he called, and same thing, you know, he was just like, you know, I hate losing y'all. Y'all was such a good team or whatever. Like, this is, you know, really not a good thing for us, but we understand. But if I could get you to change your mind, you know, we got a new contract I just secured that'll have y'all, when you're in Northern California, kind of running, you know, from that area to South Carolina, and then South Carolina, North Carolina to Northern California, basically being on that. It kind of sounded like a dedicated situation. We was just like, nah, we're good. Like, but he did say, you know, you guys always have a home here too. So it was nice to know that, like, with everything being said and done, like, they still, you know, acknowledge that, like, yeah, we were a good team over here, and that it wasn't like no bitterness from them. Now, from our fleet manager, she just always have, like, when things don't go her way, just always been like a bitter, you know, like a lot of people been having issues with her. So I'm not even surprised that her response, like, you would have thought that she would have been like, you know, hey, you know, like, she did ask why, but I told her why we were leaving, and then she was like, okay. And it was just like, okay. Like, what I realized is that maybe before we decided to make this move, maybe we should have attempted to just get off her board, right? Like, maybe she was the problem. I don't know, because I know we did talk to a lot of different, like, planners and fleet managers over there, but you know, she was like our point of contact. Like, y'all, if you in trucking, and you know that, like, that's like your supervisor. That's not like that though, but you know what I'm saying, like, that's like the the shift manager, so to speak. You know, you can't fire me, you ain't got that much fucking pull, but you know, at the same time, like, you are the person, our point of contact, and we always tried to, like, respect that position about her. But it was like, okay, at the same time, girl, like, it can't be everybody and not you. You know, if everybody is saying the same thing about your personality, like your attitude and stuff like that. Honestly, I was the type that was like, you know, like, me and Richard, the type was like, if we don't need to talk, if we don't need to call you or whatever, we ain't gonna call you. Like, if you get a call from us, it's because, like, something's not right, you know. That is the update. You know, like I said, I didn't want to be vlogging during that whole period because I actually was doing some trucking stuff, but I was like, you know what, my heart not in this right now. Like, I wasn't really happy. I didn't want to keep getting on here and just being like negative and bitter. And it's like, you know, when you don't like something about your situation, then you got to do something to change that. Like, you have the control, right? So it's like, don't be complaining about it every second. Like, if you're staying in that situation, then you must have made the decision that you're going to deal with it. So stop complaining about it. Like, complain. So anyway, y'all, this video is 20 minutes long, so I'm gonna get off right now. All right, so I will be back to, you know, kind of take y'all through the whole journey of us moving out of this truck and going over to our next company. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Y'all, my numbers have not been doing like nothing. They have not been moving. My subscriber numbers have been at 645, 646, just going back and forth like that. I'm like, okay, clearly, like, my viewers are not really feeling the vacation videos. But you know what, this channel is Saisha's life journey, so I'm telling y'all, it's not going to just be all trucking over here. So if that's not what you are into, then I guess, you know, I don't know, stay around for the trucking vlogs, and I guess you don't really want to watch the vacation vlog. But anyway, I appreciate all of y'all. I promise I'm gonna come with more of the trucking content. And as y'all, I don't know if y'all can tell, but I am on my new camera. I think this will be the first video uploaded. Thank y'all so much. Love and light to y'all. Happy birthday to me.